looking for a pen to write with over here, Greg, in Dallas, Texas, and get ready to do some radio. What do you think, my brother?
Yeah, it's about that time, isn't it?
It is that time. Kind of snuck up on me. CZ Studios are fired up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today here in front of this Patriot Mobile microphone here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch and Command Center. It's all brought to you by the NRA. Greg in Dallas, Texas. We're on all of our platforms today, minus Sans Rumble. And I'll let you tell everybody where to do that. We've got more news, more wins, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? Another win. Are you tired of winning yet? Are you sick of winning yet? More to talk about here coming up in just a moment. There's that tricky pen. I just found that little booger. There it is. Go ahead, Greg. Take a
All right, sure. I didn't know if we were going to keep rambling or not. All right.
Well, I'm a talk radio host. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Boy, tell me about it. All right. Places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Facebook. Just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. If you're over on X, just look for us at AAR Mark. You can always head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And if you'd like to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, Greg's going to have to let me know if you can hear the Marshall amplifier humming in the background. Those of you on the podcast won't, because I'll cut it out with some dynamics processing on the audition. But I just couldn't bring myself to turn it down.
That sounds fine. I don't think I hear it.
It's a Marshall and it's a Gibson Les Paul. I don't feel like turning it down. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, welcome in, my brother. How are you?
Great, man. It's good to see you. It's a busy day already. Good news. Good news.
Yeah. So let me start with this good news, and I want to read something. The Vanderstok case. Yet again, another huge win. Another huge win. It's just, guys, we're going to talk about this win after win after win after win after win. Are you tired of winning yet? I am reminded of, you ever see the movie Hamburger Hill, Lee?
Yeah, I did.
Vietnam flick from, back in the 90s. Remember that movie?
I saw it several times.
Yeah, a lot of us did. Remember Doc in the movie? He finally gets wounded, the medic. They got him down at the bottom of the hill, and they're getting ready to medevac him out. And he says, all doped up, his morphine, and he says, we've been up and down this hill 15 times. And they still don't think we're serious. And I can't help but think of the dopey, stupid anti-gunners that just haven't figured out we're serious, bro.
Yeah. This is good news. Getting this thing overturned was a hell of a move.
Let's talk about it. A federal court in Texas today, ladies and gentlemen, has ruled that the Biden-era frame and receiver rule is unconstitutional for two separate reasons. It violates the Second Amendment. Well, there's that. And it is too vague to satisfy the Fifth Amendment's due process protections. The court declared the rule unconstitutional as applied to all SAF members and issued a permanent injunction protecting defense distributed and current and future Second Amendment Foundation members as it relates to the specific gun kits involved in the case. In plain English, ladies and gentlemen, what this means. SAF members, of course, partial to the SAF and the committee and, of course, National Rifle Association and others, are now expressly protected from enforcement of this rule specifically involving these specific products under the court's order. The government still may appeal the decision or ask the court to put the injunction on hold while an appeal moves forward. We're also seeking additional guidance from the government about exactly how the injunction will work in practice. For now, this is yet another significant legal victory for SAF and its members, and another example of why the Second Amendment Foundation membership matters. So if you're a member, ladies and gentlemen, SAF is funding these cases, near 60 of them in courtrooms across the country. And Lee, I'm only going to say this. Bruin was a divine intervention, brother. It
really was.
Think about it.
It really was. This rule, this ATF rule was so sick. It took parts, okay, pieces of plastic, sheets of metal, and said that they were firearms. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. And this was an ATF rule, brother.
Right.
But like all ATF rules under the Biden administration, people went to jail over it.
And are still in jail over it.
This thing's done.
Well,
and are still in jail over it.
Let's go to the gloat factor here for just a second, because it is a legitimate question. I have never in my life, I'm being stifled every single day. I was talking with Jared Yanis again today and a number of others as these wins just keep piling up. They just keep piling up. Have you ever?
Right.
First off, I'm in agreement with just about everybody I've spoken to that I never thought I would be reporting in my lifetime the death of the NFA. I never thought that day would come.
I know.
And subsequent to that, another
I
win.
hear you say it.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
I mean,
his history in the making, and I got to put it in this perspective relative to the NFA. You and I will talk a little bit about that today because it is so huge. But the death of the NFA, while there's still some cleanup to do afterwards, obviously, Jared used an analogy on my show the other day, and I put it out, guys, in a YouTube video. Go check it out. It's getting a lot of hits right now. It's about 3 minutes and 13 seconds. And it's just a montage of some of Jared's commentary on the NFA and the shock that we really felt when here it is, this thing is wiped off the map just like that. Well, still got to tamp some things down. We still got some cleanup to do afterwards. There needs to be some guidance. That's all coming. So hang in there. It's been 92 years. We can wait a few more days. No question about it. But what this does, I told this to 97.1 FM this morning on Mark Cox in the Morning Show when I was there. And I said, guys, understand that what this does is this takes the Second Amendment, the reason it's so historic, back to its original founding principles, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
What a huge step. What a huge, huge step. So twofold. How do you feel about that? And how do you think the anti-gunners feel about it? Let's try to get in their heads.
Let's start with the anti-gunners. They got to be furious. They're beyond furious. They're losing hope, which is great. Hopefully their membership drops, their money dries up, and they all go away home and cry. But I got to tell you, this was such a good move because these quote firearms, like we both know people that are in prison as we speak for having firearms according to an ATF definition. And what this says is the ATF definition of wrong. It was wrong. You want a firearm? Let's see us shoot some bullets. It's not a chunk of metal. It's not a flat piece of metal that's got some marks on it on where to fold it with a welding torch. ATF lost its mind under Joe Biden, and I'm glad as hell we're getting him back. I just hope they obviously follow up on people that are still paying behind bars for this lunacy.
Yeah, that's, oh boy. And I want to talk with you about the felons deal today too. We'll talk a little bit about that because that's a victory of sorts. There were some people yesterday out and about in the internet world. I think somebody, Greg, called me premature for talking about it. How is it premature to talk about something that broke news yesterday? How's that premature? If anything, it's post-mature. It might be premature to suggest it was going to happen prior to it happening, but to report on it after it happened certainly is not premature, is it?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, post-mature. We make up our own stuff here, guys. We live off Walmartisms when we choose to, okay? We make up what we want, but it makes sense. You understand what I'm saying. And some of the theory behind that, well, no, I see I'm getting sidetracked. There's just so much to talk about. So I'm going to stay with my train of thought here. No, I got to stay with this one real quick because my mind is on it right now and I don't want to lose the thought. Some of the thought process was, well, we don't have all of our rights back yet. Let's not worry about felons, which I understand on the surface. But the two of these are not mutually exclusive of one another. They can exist at the same time. Okay? We are winning our rights back in historic fashion. And this is just another part of it to people who have been so screwed. And this goes right back to what you were talking about, Lee. People who have suffered, who shouldn't be suffering as a result. And that goes back to the court cases. What happens to those poor people who are in jail right now because of things that were found to be unconstitutional? And I'm going to ask it on a very basic level. You did better reporting on this than anybody I know. Hats off to you, talking about the abuse at the ATF closing down gun dealers at a rate of over 700% higher than at any other time in history because they didn't put a dot over an I or cross a T, literally, or they put the county name in the state where it was just reversed it, and they lost their entire livelihoods as a result. Do they get that back now? And that's kind of the same as the person that's sitting rotten in jail, kind of like Tate. We'll get to him in a little bit in the final segment. But how do these people get fixed?
I don't know. It's going to have to be some type of court action, hopefully. I mean, when you're talking about gun shops, I can literally walk to one that was 3 generations old, brother. And they went put out of business by the ATF under Joe Biden for paperwork crap. Just as you described, little paperwork errors,
30,
and they're done. All they're selling are some gun parts. and nobody's working there anymore other than the kid. It's so sad what they did to this industry. And like you said, it's going to take a while to recover.
No question. It is definitely going to take a while to recover, but we're going to recover, ladies and gentlemen. I think the other side's figuring it out. We'll be back with Lee right after the break. Don't go away. 3 more segments to go. 3 more segments to go. Indeed. Welcome back to the show. Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. And of course, it's a Tuesday. It's a pre-garbage day, pre-day before Friday. It's always something. And I'm having a good week. Guys, I got to tell you this before we get started, and Greg, let you know this too. Coming up latter part of this week, I'm going to be making an announcement relative to AAR that you guys are going to absolutely love. And that's all I can tell you right now. You don't want to miss the show coming up the latter part of this week. I promise you that. Huge news coming. Absolutely huge news. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back in, my brother. Always a pleasure to have you here. I can't even tell you, Lee. I can't even tell you. Maybe I can after the show. I don't know. We'll see. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well.
I tell you,
you're
looking good.
You got to read Alan's. You got to read Alan's quote, man, on this rule.
Go for it. It's all you. I don't have it in front of me. Tear it up.
It was obvious from the offset that the Biden ATF's definition of a firearm was intentionally vague and provided no clear guidance to the average law-abiding American as to what was actually legal, he said. As it stood previously, the updated definition, in essence, made a law-abiding citizen a criminal for here's the big part, for nothing more than owning a piece of plastic that could be converted into a firearm. That isn't how it works. Congress set the definition, and the ATF can't unilaterally trump up a revised version to suit their political agenda, which they got from Biden. The ruling also affirms, this is the most important part, that you are indeed allowed to make firearms in your own home without fear of prosecution. Yeah. Nobody put that better than Alan.
Nobody ever can. And
huge.
The interesting part about all this, guys, this is a whole show, Lee. Even the hour we don't have. It really is truly a whole show. Because let's go back to the Biden-era rules. And here's what was happening, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you've ever studied any civics, some of you younger people out there might not have studied civics, particularly if you live in certain areas of the country, because they don't want you to know the things we're talking about right now. But, Lee, what branch of government writes law?
That would be the legislature, Congress nationally.
You remember the classes you took when you were a kid, how a bill becomes a bill and how that bill becomes law? Remember those? I don't know that they teach the kids that anymore. I don't know. I don't recall my kids.
I don't think there's. Well, I mean, you've got federal agencies like ATF under Joe Biden writing their own laws.
Well, that's where we're going with this, because what happened, ladies and gentlemen, is the Biden ATF would make up a rule and call it a rule. But what would come with that rule would be criminal penalties that would put you in prison. So ATF, I want you to think about what we're talking about here. Put this in perspective. ATF decides politically, well, we don't want, let's go after this. We're going to have this zero tolerance policy. We're going to lock up gun dealers. And that's what they did. We're going to lock them up. Or at the very least, we're going to take away their livelihoods, because we don't care about their 50-year legacy and their kids' legacy and the business and the inheritance. We don't care about any of that. We don't want people to buy guns. What's the best way to get people to stop buying guns? Shut down gun dealers. Make it impossible. What happened in Chicago after concealed carry passed in Chicago? Why did we have the McDonald case? A Zell case is what I'm referring to. Our good friend Rhonda Zell. I love her to death. Rhonda, if you're listening, I love you. Let's talk soon. I know you listen to the program. Rhonda Zell, they couldn't buy a gun anywhere because Chicago outlawed gun sales inside their own perimeter, making it virtually what for someone to buy a gun, Lee? Impossible.
100%.
Now, the ATF was doing this on a mass scale and attaching criminal penalties to things. That is not how our system works. Now, I could go way on the rails here and talk about stupid COVID mandates, mask mandates.
Oh.
You know, I had a couple run-ins flying out of Atlanta when I wasn't wearing a diaper on my face, and I was getting ready to board a flight, and I had two cops come up to me, one on a bike and one on a Segway, asking to see my ID and my boarding pass as I was standing to the gate 10 minutes away from boarding. And I said, "What's up?" I said, "I'm already through security. I'm getting ready to get on a flight. You're not wearing a mask." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't wear diapers on my face, and it's not something I think of. I'm sorry." The guy says, "Well, it's a law." I said, "It's not a law. Show me the law the governor signed. Show me the law Congress passed and that the president signed. It's not a law. It's a mandate. I'm not going to sit here and hassle you. I don't have a diaper." So they walked me up to the Delta counter, which happened to be right there. Anybody knows Atlanta Airport, gate C16. Okay. Now it's a Delta counter. It used to be a whatever it was at the time, but now it's a Delta counter. I went up and the girl behind the counter smiled at me and handed me a little plastic kit with a mask. But Lee, it wasn't a law. I would expect a law enforcement officer to know the law. Maybe he should be a mandate enforcement officer. There's a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, and that would have saved the ATF if they would have taken these people to court civilly, if they would have sued them for violating their rules. But no, there are people that are doing time in prison for violating ATF rules. Tate Adamiak, obviously, is the one that comes to mind.
For violating an ATF political rule.
Correct.
I want you to think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's tyranny. That is one of the definitions of tyranny. That's what a tyrannical government does to its subjects, to its peasants, when it doesn't want you to exercise your constitutional rights and your freedoms. Now, I couldn't have been put in jail for violating a mandate. I could have been not allowed to get on the airplane. I would have been asked to leave, and if I didn't leave, they would have trespassed me. And if I refused to go, it would have been criminal trespass, and I could have gotten jailed for that. And we all know there's some cops out there that are going to claim something that I'm obstructing because I wasn't following the mandate, and then they're going to arrest me for that. Okay? But it was never a law ever, period. Too many suckers fell for that stuff. And the problem we have here is you've got an entire political party that believes that the ATF should be able to skirt congressional authority, skirt our constitutional legislative process because they don't like your guns, period. And that should frighten every single American. Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. Please do.
No, you're 100%. ATF violated the Constitution. There are people in prison who should not be because of this. Now, I can't believe that whoever was in charge, well, actually I can, went along with this, allowed their guys to be basically commit these horrible acts, these unconstitutional arrests and prosecutions, yet they did. Now, you don't see that as much at the FBI. You don't see that at all at the DEA, but ATF has always played the politics here.
How many people have ATF murdered? I've lost count, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bunch.
You go back to Ruby Ridge. You go back to, you go back with FBI there. You go back to that. You go, oh my good heavens. You go back to Waco and look at that entire debacle, murdering women and children, 70 plus people for having what? Firearms. They didn't like. And Greg, you just said Ruby Ridge. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. Guys, if this isn't an eye opener, I don't know what is. And just think about it. The anti-gunners are angry about this. Angry about this because they don't care about our process and our laws. Indeed. Welcome.com/AAR. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back on stage with me, brother. It's great to have you here. We'll flip that little back screen for you so people can see your name. I don't think people, well, I don't know. That's not a fair thing to start off with. Fans of Armed American Radio listeners understand the magnitude of what we're talking about here. But those of you who might be new to the program and might not have heard us talk about these things, these are not just gun issues, ladies and gentlemen. These are civil rights issues. These are constitutional freedoms. This is what the country was founded on. This is the underlying base of all of our freedoms here. Now, it happens to be that we focus on the Second Amendment issue here, but it's all tied together. The Vanderstok case was found unconstitutional two ways. It's a violation of the Second Amendment, and it can't satisfy the Fifth Amendment's due process. So it's not just Second Amendment. All right. This is critical stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I ask you, are you tired of winning? I know the answer to that question. But more astonishing to me, Lee, to go back to this, and I do want to harp on this for just a minute. The mere fact that there are so many people out there who have no problem with our rights being violated, in fact, actively seek it. How do you explain that? I know I'm asking you to get into a commie's head or some dopey liberal who can't think for himself, just feels all day long. But how do you think people square that away when they say they live and they love this country and they love its freedoms, yet they work diligently and tirelessly all day to take our freedoms away?
They love the freedoms that they hold dear. They don't love your freedoms and my freedoms. So therefore, anything the government can do to take away our freedoms, obviously being the Second Amendment, they're all for. And they pimped the ATF to this crazy attorney after their first candidate failed, and they wrote rules that they enforced as laws and put people in prison for it. It's that simple, brother. I've never seen anything like it. I haven't seen anything before. I haven't seen anything since. I know there's a few more that they need to clear up. Hopefully they'll go. I can't imagine the wherewithal that comes upon a group of people who decide to write their own rules that are enforced with these criminal penalties. It's absolutely crazy. Of course it's unconstitutional. I don't see why they didn't factor that in, or maybe they just didn't, as you said, they just didn't care because they don't like guns.
Well, you know, the bump stocks is a great example of this, because I can go all the way back to, oh gosh, and his name is escaping me now. He's been on the program many years ago. The individual that invented the first bump stock, if you will, was from Florida, and his name will come back to me in just a moment. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It'll come back to me. It was named after him. I have copies of all of the letters from the ATF that his attorney asked for clarification to make sure that they were fine from the ATF, and they were. We have copies of the letters saying, no, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Letter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So he began putting them in production based on that. And then they wanted all of his customer names and shut him down and bankrupted him because they didn't care. And they would have put him in jail. That was under Obama, and then under Biden, the bump stock ban, because they were using this rulemaking process that we're talking about right now. On even Obama's DOJ and ATF said, no, you're fine. Even Obama's didn't change those rules. It was the Biden administration that later changed those rules to fit their political agenda. And the anti-gunners are jumping up and down and screaming, yay, yay, yay. Common sense. No, violation of our Constitution is not common sense in any way, shape, or form. And you have to wonder, what do they teach their kids at the dinner table? How do they explain to their kids? Well, you know, hey, Mom, we were talking about how a bill becomes law today in school. Well, did the ATF? So I guess that, you know, you're out there fighting every day for this ATF, and when did they go through the same process? What does the parent say? No, we don't worry about the Constitution when it comes to guns. We just want the ATF to make our own rules. How do you square that?
You can't, and you have to understand that this rule that they made wasn't clear. So it's not like you can say, okay, this is illegal and this is legal, or this is a gun and this isn't. The ATF left that all up into the air, gave it to their agents to play with. So I'm sorry, Tate-Adamiak, yeah, those are guns. Those thousands of pieces of sheet metal that are flat and marked are now guns. In your case, now it might not be for you, but definitely for you, because we wanted him. My mind is blown. I lost a lot of faith in this country, which I dearly love, but I'm glad this thing is finally put to rest here now. Get the rest of the ATF crap off the plate, and I'll be a lot happier.
It has been just a remarkable run over the last several months. It was, you know, talk radio host can't get the words out. It is astonishing, because as late as just 3 or 4 months ago, we complain about, you know, we've got to be patient. These things take time. It works its way through. It sucks. Okay, we've got to win these battles. And here come the victories, literally bounding one right after the other in a fashion that I don't think any of us saw coming, frankly. I don't think you did. I mean, we knew we would eventually win these things.
Right.
But rapid fire succession like this, did you expect that at all?
I didn't, and I know some of the attorneys that are working for SAF, and every one of them is sharper than the next. And I should have known. But man, I've never seen a win spree like this.
Well,
ever. It's like every day, Mark, we're going to get another email saying we won this.
I wonder what's coming tomorrow. That's where we're at right now. It has really, truly been remarkable. Yeah. It's a great time to be a gun owner in America, and a freedom lover, and a patriot in this country. Because again, while we're talking about it from the gun rights perspective, where these victories have been just piling up, it's beyond that. It's more than that. It's a restoration of constitutional rights that literally goes back to our era's founding, and particularly when it comes to the Second Amendment. The whole NFA being history takes us right back to our founding and gets us back to our roots of what the Second Amendment actually means. Because this has never been about crime, ladies and gentlemen. It has been about control, not crime, ever. And the other side, wow, when we come back, we'll harp on that for a little bit. We'll get a Tate Adamiak update, and we'll just keep funning on a Tuesday for you because we can. And by that time, they always come up with something fun and something new. So you can just go back out. Well, don't have that one. And boom. And they're inexpensive, like 35, 45, 55, depending on, what size you get, which one you want. And
whatever it is.
Oh man, they're so much fun. So go to check them out. GOAT, GOAT guns, goatguns.com. And if you talk to the owners over there in Bragg, tell them we sent you. Brad had a booth across from me at the NRA convention in Houston, and he will no doubt be probably right there with me again at NRA convention in April. Lee, you going to come up for the NRA convention in Atlanta this year?
Probably not.
Oh,
no, I'm going to be pretty busy, hopefully.
We need to get him there. You can be busy at the NRA convention. We'd love to have you there. All your friends are there, and some of your enemies too. That's what makes it so fun, because you make those in the business too. All right, guys. Lee, what's going on? Give us a Tate update, please.
Tate remains in the county jail. I talked to his dad just a couple days ago.
No movement there.
He's got no movement, no legal movement whatsoever. He's still in the county jail. Thankfully, he's got some type of course that he wanted, so he's reading to become who knows what, some type of legal course. So he'll be another paralegal. That's all he's doing all day long is reading. At least it keeps him busy. The guy did nothing wrong. He needs to be released. Now, here's the interesting thing. I put a thing on X the other day that said Tate has been in prison almost as long under Donald Trump as he was under Joe Biden. Remember, he went into prison under Biden.
Yeah.
Trump has held him almost as long. 200,000, more than 200,000 people saw that post. I don't want him to end up serving longer under Joe Biden or under Donald Trump than he did under Joe Biden. That's where it's headed, bro. And that's sad when you think about it.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm having a tough time figuring this one out at this point. I still remain adamant and optimistic. He's going to get out. I feel confident now.
I know
Tate's dad and mom are probably listening to
it.
They are busy. There's no question about it. I get it, okay? But in the meantime, this kid's rotting, and somebody's going to say, Mr. President, we need 5 minutes of your time. Okay? At some point, that's going to happen. I feel confident that's going to occur. This young man will get his life back. But every day at this stage, granted, he's still got more on the front end than he does the back end. Good for him. But enough is enough, Lee.
He sent a 30-page handwritten letter, came out through some friends, and what he's eating there, I mean, a piece of bread with one thin slice of bologna on it, junk, absolute trash. The money that you can use your own money and buy stuff from a commissary, which is like go to the worst vending machine in the world. Yeah. That's what's there.
Honey buns.
So, yeah, honey
and that's
buns.
Currency.
It's terrible.
That's currency in jail, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this,
He's spending $800 a month on phone calls from this county prison. County jail.
Now, can you tell me why he hasn't been moved yet? Why do we know why I know you're up on this. Do we know why he hasn't been moved back?
Well, he's got a court hearing, the end of next month, They moved him in for a court hearing that the judge canceled.
Yeah.
But
I'm guessing that's why. And my initial instinct would be, well, you'd rather be in the county lockup than a federal pen, but that's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. No. It's far worse where he is now than being back in a federal penitentiary that I'm sure has a lot more protection, et cetera, than this county lockup. Good heavens, it's an awful situation. Lee,
you've got the ability to move around in a federal prison. You could go out and do a job during the day.
Yeah.
He works here, he works there. The food is better. It's medium security. There are people accused of murder just down the hall from Tate in this county jail.
Yeah, accused, by the way, because county jail houses those that are accused or that have been sentenced to a year or less. And the violent ones, well, that's what a lot of people have this misconception. Well, all the violent criminals are in prison. No, you've got a lot of violent people that are accused that have not gone to court yet that are mingling with you.
Right.
That know what's coming down the pike and don't care. What a mess. Lee, where can people find all the cool stuff you write about, brother? Let us know.
They can go to thegunwriter.substack.com. They can go to armedamericannews.org, but we hope they go to saf.org. SAF is in Second Amendment Foundation.org.
Yeah, you have yet another reason today, ladies and gentlemen, to join SAF and CCR-KBA. The committee will get you covered on the last ruling, and the Second Amendment Foundation will get you covered under the Vanderstok ruling for the frames and receivers. It's just victory after victory after victory. Lee's going to be writing about it. Lee, the Gun Writer Williams, we love you, brother. Thanks for being here on a Tuesday. Guys, we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow precisely because they don't want us to. Until then, stay safe, enjoy your day, and I'll see you on the radio.